Peace, peace, y'all. Welcome to the daily mathematics recap, right? Because I haven't seen you guys since Friday the 13th. Been a little MIA. My apologies. So here's a nice little recap for you guys. So we started the Friday the 13th on a 9-13-8, 13 being that karmic debt number of learning how to express and create what you understand, taking initiative to the things that you wish to create, which is a karmic number because it's very difficult to do these things, right? Aligning that 1 and 3 to makes 4, which is how we build a foundation on things, bringing that to the month of 9, because everything that we do during this month is bringing us to the divine womb, right? This is the energy of Mutt. We're here to the 22nd to remind you guys, right? Mutt. I don't know. My bad, y'all. So it brings us to the number 13 again. So twice we come into this karmic debt number of learning how to, take initiative on what we create, what we wish to do, what we wish to manifest, learning how to express the things that we know, etc., etc. So bring us back into that 13 energy. Brings us back to a sense of foundation again. We're going to take that 4 foundation and put it into the year of 8, the year of building and destroying, transformations, secrets coming out, empowerment, the solar plexus year. This is the year of Oya, ruling over the marketplace, the elders and the witches. That brings us to 12, which is knowledge and wisdom when we make those transformations and enforcement. And then ultimately that day was a day of 3. It was a very emotional day. It was a day of creation, creativity. 3 dealing with Bina, which is the energy of Saturn, taking Ketters into the Bina, understand what you receive through your spiritual realm and bringing it into the physical. It's a very hard task to do, but it has to be done, right? Aligning the Aquarius and Capricorn energy in our root chakras, Ashe. We had a 71% Watson Gibbons moon. That moon was in Capricorn, and our thought process was in that Bina energy, while around us it was that Sagittarius energy and the constellations still bring us to that sacral chakra events and happenings, of course, on a Friday. Happy Holy Day, folks. Moon and Albalda were in conjunction. Mars and Teja posterior were in conjunction. So we had, the moon going through those Sagittarius stars. And then we had Mars going, Mars doing what Mars does. And so September 14th, now we're on Saturday. That is 9-14-8. So now we are in another karmic debt number, but this is taking initiative on that foundation that we made the day before, right? The 14 comes into 5 because now we're walking in the power of our truth. Once we do that, of course, we put the power of our truth into the divine womb. Why wouldn't we want to give birth to something like that? That brings us back into the karmic number of learning how to take initiative, getting that knowledge and building with that knowledge your foundation, which is a very scary task because a lot of times you're doing it by yourself. That, again, brings us to a space of walking in the power of our truth. And then we're going to put that into the year of 8. This is the year of transformation, death, and rebirth. Ultimately bringing us back to that karmic number of 13. Ultimately, this is a day of 4 foundation. And it starts, with knowledge of the foundation. It's going to end with the foundation at the end. The moon and Pluto were in conjunction on that day. So finding transformation and rebirth and empowerment in your intuitive space was heavy on this day. Jupiter was at best AM visibility of the year. And then Mercury entered draconic Virgo energy at 11:30 p.m. that night, while the moon was in Capricorn and on the tropical in our mindset, Sagittarius in our happenings. But still, yeah, that's what's happening there. Then we started, then on the 15th, we're in 9-15-8. We're taking that, that knowledge and the power of our truth that we was working on the day before with them couple of 5s we had. We take that to a 6. Now we're in the space of quality, taking that knowledge and power of truth, and now we're like, how are we going to apply this to our health, wealth, daily routine? So Sunday, you probably found yourself in the space of organizing, starting to think about like how you want your daily routine to go, especially as we're entering this harvest season, the eclipse energy, the full moon, which is kind of like halfway, the literal halfway point between, new moon to new moon cycle. So, it's a good time here. It's a good time to organize and get it together, right? The moon was sitting in Aquarius and our mindset. So it's all about, revolutionary ideas. Things y'all was coming up with some shit y'all ain't never seen before, right? We're in Capricorn in the sidereal and the constellations. So we're building upon it in our happenings. We're finding infrastructure in it and all that fun stuff like that. Don't forget Pluto is over there as well. Within the Capricorn constellation also. So you're feeling some transformations and empowerment and pendulum swinging in that realm as we organize some things. The AM visibility of the moon began. Moon and Geldi were in conjunction. The moon was also the furthest point from the sun, which is aphelion, and that happened later on in that evening. So then we get into 9-16-8. All right, so now we're dealing with, the 6 that we dealt with the day before. We had a couple sixes the day before, but ultimately we got into walking in the power of our truth, which, that was the, what we added up to. Hopefully you guys are starting to catch on to the patterns of what's going on during the second decade of the month. This is the decade of wisdom and harmony and balance and all those things we took initiative on the first decade of the month. We were getting knowledge on during the first decade of the month. Now we're learning how to, we're gaining discernment on how to applicate these things. So we have the moon sitting in Aquarius in our mindset, still getting the downloads in our intuition space from the Ketters, being revolutionary, doing new things, rooting us in the cosmos. We're still in the Capricorn constellation, so we're still in the above and below. We in between right now. We had the 95% waxing gibbous moon, getting closer to the full moon. We start the day off with the 9-16-8, having that knowledge of that sense of equality, what you wish to have during your health, wealth, daily routine. What makes things equal for you. What do you need? Thinking about it, right? That brings us to 7, which we also know is the Libra skills, as well as that energy of God. Then we take that God energy, the Libra scales of justice that had been made from knowledge and equality. We're going to put that into the divine womb, because that's definitely a nice combo to want to give birth to, right? Ashe. So then that brings us back into 16, back into that knowledge of a sense of equality, because it's like what we put up into the cosmos, it seems like we get it right back. So it's like a give and take. So this month, I hope you guys are realizing the pattern. It's like what you put up there, what you put out there is exactly what you're getting back. It's not what you hope for. It's not what you wish for. It's exactly what you're giving. You know what I'm saying? So if you're giving nothing, you're getting nothing. When I speak to y'all, for damn sure I'm speaking to myself. Okay? So that brings us back into the 7. We got the 7, and we're going to put it into the year of 8, because we're going to empower ourselves with it this year. We're going to create transformations. We're going to conceive with it, because we know what we want to give birth to in a year of 9. We want, all these great things. We want the law. We want the justice. We want the truth. We want balance. We want to be in alignment with Mayat. We want that God energy. We want all of that. So then that ultimately brings us to the number of 15, 1 and 5, having that knowledge of walking in the power of your truth after doing that. And then ultimately it's a day of 6, really paying attention to that sense of equality, your daily routine. Then we have the 17th, right? That was yesterday. 17th was a pretty interesting day. We started the day off at midnight. That was at a 99% waxing gibbous moon. We're building up on those tangible things in our space that we want. Our mindset was on Pisces energy, right? The moon was in Pisces. It's opposite the sun. Our sun is giving us those Virgo experiences. The moon is like deep Olukun energy and kind of like resting and doing everything opposite the sun. The sun's trying to get y'all working and get you on a routine and all these things like that. And Pisces moon is like, fuck all that. You know what I mean? We're still in Aquarius on the sidereal, and constellation of it all. So the happenings around us is in that revolutionary, detached, unique energy, the rebellious energy, getting that energy from the Ketters. Very spiritual day, right? Sunrise at 6:42 a.m. and setting at 7:04 p.m. Venus and Spica were in conjunction, so now you had the heart chakra getting that energy from the brightest star in the Virgo constellation. It was all about harvest yesterday. What did your heart want to harvest? What did you want in your space? You found yourself having conversations and even thoughts amongst yourselves about what it is that you want in your space, and what are you willing to do or sacrifice to get it. The moon and Saturn were also in conjunction yesterday, so some challenges come into our intuitive space. Some challenges come into our space of feeling nurtured and our ability and capacity to nurture other people and feeling nurtured by other people. And that's probably because it was whether you were dealing with the hermit sun or the deep waters of the Olukun moon, it still was calling you to a space of isolation. So if you were being resistance to that because you needed attention or you needed this or you needed that to a certain extent, because it still was like somewhat of a community day, you felt the pushback, right? And those are challenges that we need to give us the what do you call it? They give us the discipline and the order and the boundaries that we need, right? And so that was happening with the moon and Saturn. The full moon was at 10:35 p.m. Earth was between the moon and sun, which was a super moon. Don't forget Saturn was over there as well, creating challenges. A lot of things happening to infrastructure. I told you guys about the different governmental and private corporation organization meetings happening on these days as well. The partial lunar eclipse was at 10:44 p.m. Parts of the moon crossed the Earth's shadow. The sun entered Virgo constellation, so now we have the sun in Virgo in the tropical, the Vedic, in the draconic chart, and Mars entered draconic Cancer that day as well. So now we have, our spiritual experience rooted in, being motivated towards that nurturing energy. So now we're moving towards that. The numbers was 917 8, the day of, having that knowledge of God. Eclipse energy, the moon being in alignment with Saturn, the moon being in Pisces and Aquarius, that divine alignment of the moon with Earth and the sun, and Mercury, I believe, is also in Virgo. Saturn sitting over there in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. It was a nice lineup of planets bringing us to that subconscious realm, right? That was a 17 through and through, and which brought us to 8, a sense of empowerment, transformation, death and rebirth, pendulum swinging, secrets coming out. Niggas was getting arrested. It was wild out here in these streets. That 8 and 9 went together because whatever you put it together, we put it up in the cosmos, and it brought it right back down to us on another 17 when we put it up into the womb, right? So we got that another 1 and 7 coming back down to us as we put the 1 and 7 up into the womb. So that brought us to an 8 and 8. So it was like a double 8 day. In fact, we experienced 3 8s this day, so like triple on the transformation, right? So that 8 and 8 come together and make 16. That's having knowledge on the sense of equality. Overall, today was the day. That day, yesterday, was the day of 7. It was the day of the Libra scales, the day of law, justice, and truth, the day of God, and what a beautiful, day for those numbers to fall apart, right? And that is the update. That is the update that I have for y'all. Peace.